Thanks very much, Chris. First and foremost, this is the most important part of the summit. This is the next 3 speakers. It's been a great day so far, some great speakers, great exhibitors, and some really great to see some old faces and some new faces. So really, congratulations to Pat and his team for putting on a great event. So what I want to go into straight away is, first of all, people have been talking about Mayo for Sam Maguire. That's not going to happen. They're not going to put the double colours that Sam Maguire put as we talk at the moment. But the workplace, for me, is like Shangri-La. I've 7 kids at home, so getting out of the house every morning is just a joy. So getting to the workplace is fantastic. Skipping over school boxes and lunch boxes there this morning, just to get here was an achievement in itself. When we first started the company, myself and Kieran Flanagan, my colleague, 20 years ago, our main focus was to look at the information flow and what really were we getting back on a regular basis on our information. And the bit that struck us when we were studying building maintenance in Bolt Street, which was a college not too far from here 20 years ago, was that we could still see that the people that own and operate these buildings, the facilities management teams, were really getting back boxes of paper. And that was 20 years ago, and it's still at that stage today, even though we've got some great technology at the present moment, in existing technology and emerging technology we talked about this morning. But the big focus from our point of view was helping out these guys, which is our friend here. I'm working with them to find out, well actually, you've got a big organisation, you've got lots of buildings under construction, under design, you've got buildings in operation and maintenance, but what you're getting back on a regular basis is unstructured information. And that was a big focus for us. So we've developed a whole platform, we've developed a service of how we can stop this whole process. And that's the bit I want to kind of talk about. Because I want to move from here and move the solution along to, how do we get here? Well, our friend above got here by not specifying the information properly. And even just doing those basics, even specifying the level of digital information that you want to get back on a completion of a construction project is so important. It makes so many benefits to the FM team, to the operations team. We've got a healthy and happy workplace, we've got the information, but if we don't specify it properly in our construction tender documents, we're going to be faced with this situation all the time, where that level of unstructured information is being provided back to us on completion of every project. And even in this standard specification that we come across now, we're working on projects in the UK and in Ireland and Europe and the US, we're still seeing this level of specification. And if I'm going to be an owner-operator, or if I'm going to be the FM manager, the last thing I want is unstructured information. I want to be in that review and approval process, the level of information, on what type of building is being built, how it's being designed. So I want to get in there at the very early stage. I'll talk about that a bit further on. But we've got to move away from specifying stuff in paper, in plastic, and come back to us. That's not going to work for us. We're not going to be able to manage a facility, and we're not going to be able to have any operational benefits going forward. So, when we hear about these terms, operational benefits and soft landings, these are very good terms, they're very appropriate to the way we are building and managing facilities today in today's environment. But some of the key stats that we're still seeing coming along is that 80% of projects are not specified correctly. We're still relying on architects and QSs and project management firms to put in their opinion of what a specification is. No, we own the buildings, we operate them, they should be using what we classify as our digital handover information specifications. 75% of the projects still specify a mixture of paper and ringwires. That's not going to work for us, that has to be changed. 70% of the projects regarding the onboard facilities management operations team have minimal input. The FM teams, the operational teams should be there from the very, very start. They should be involved in the design of the building, they should be given an input into the building, because they're going to take ownership of managing that building for the next 25 years. They're the key people that are going to have a focus on this. So getting our information structure, our operational procedures should have an input at the very, very early stage. 65% of digital handover information is still not fully reviewed and approved. We cannot accept buildings anymore if they're not coming back with the right information on the right digital process, fully reviewed and approved by our design teams, by our PSDPs and anybody else that's involved in the actual project. Again, we don't take ownership of this information until we're happy that we fully review and approve it. BIM model for FM menus, BIM model is a great technology. It's really improving the design and construction, but moving into FM, there's certain challenges that we see. Do clients actually have BIM software? Have they got BIM capability of actually taking those BIM models in and using them for us? So the asset information model is going to be crucial to us if that's what we're going to get back. We've got to ask those hard questions in terms of how big are those BIM models? They could be very big. They could be a couple of hundred federated models stuck together. We won't be able to open those BIM models. So it's a good technology, but we've got to be able to structure right at the very, very start, in that BIM execution plan. And putting someone in that role to represent you is crucial. Moving on, to get this right, we just got to go back to basics. We've got this existing technology. Let's use it. We're using mobile phones. We're using cloud computing. So let's get it right. We want to specify this properly. We have new business coming on board. We want a proper specification for the digital project handover. We want to create a new role for a digital construction handover information coordinator. We want that person in charge of our soft landings, our operational readiness. We want the information structured. We want our guys to be working with that construction team, so when the building is being built and I can see it coming out of the ground, I also want to see all my operational information fully reviewed and approved. And it's very simply done. If you specify it into your tender documents, no matter what construction company is going to build for you, he has to adhere to your information policy. And that could be for a multinational with sites around the world. That could be a university building with a big estates team. Specify it in, no matter what contractor is coming on site, he has to adhere to your information policies, because that's going to be crucial. Because those guys are going to finish up within 12 months, 16 months. We're left with the building. Now we've got to get the information right. Specified it at the very, very start. And again, the technology in the AEC and FMS is really fast improving. We've got our existing technologies, our BIM, our BMS, and our CAFM systems, and our IDMS, which are great piece of technology. And as the earlier speakers had said, we've got new technology coming on stream. We've got big data, blockchain, robotics, and this new terms that we're even becoming familiar with. And that's going to have a really positive effect over the next couple of years. But let's get the grip of the stuff that we already have at our fingertips. Our mobile phones. We use those devices all the time. What's not stopping me having all my construction handover information and my building handover information on my mobile phone device? So I'm mobile, I'm accessible. My mobile workers, when I have crafts people or trades people on coming on site, they're logging onto the applications, they're updating the applications in real time. That's really sitting in with CAFM and IDMS and cloud computing. I've got my BMS within my Internet of Technology of Things coming through as well. I've got my BIM models all synced up as well. So there's existing technologies, we just have to make sure we're specifying it correctly in our construction tender documents. The situation we have now at the moment is that we've got great buildings being built, but there's still a lot of unconnected information. There's still a lot of unconnected applications. I might have a project collaboration design application for being used by the design and construction team. They're managing RFIs and submittals and so forth. I've got a BIM model being separately done. I've got a soft landings procedures being proposed by the construction company, but it's not my soft landings process. I've got a BMS, so there's a lot of unconnected applications. What we want to try and move is to get all of this information to a stage where we're avoiding that completely, and we want to move all those applications onto one platform. So I'm beginning to see the application grow, I'll be able to see on the content, I'm able to see the actual building come out of the ground, I've got full visibility, I've got full access to all the information. That's going to be crucial for us. Now, as we're talking about technology is no good without the people that's going to drive these roles. We need someone to take ownership of making sure that everything I want to include in my information strategy for my buildings is captured at the planning. I want to put a building information strategy in place. If I have a BIM strategy, I want to know my asset information requirements, my AOR, my execution plans. I want my FM team fully involved at that design stage and planning stage. And I need a person or people to drive this. People that have the technology, people that have the information coordination and construction of the information, because I'm relying on them to make sure my information for my building is being brought through those relevant stages. The key people, being the operational team and the FM teams, are fully involved, have their site walks, have their site walk downs, are reviewing the information, are not accepting it until it's fully reviewed and approved. I'm then moving into my handover and closeout. Without going through the following previous 4 stages, I won't have any handover and closeout. What I'm going to get is the keys to the building, the contractor finishing up, and the box of paper. So it's important that we both have a person who's going to take ownership of the information management, and it's important that we have the right technology in place. Then it's allowing me to take ownership of these buildings with the right information, and it's able to manage this information flow for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Because we might flip those buildings, we might sell them, we may retain them, but I can't do anything with all my information. We're working on a lot of clients, a lot of projects now who have big estates, but there's no information there. It may be in the plant room, maybe on a USB, it may be there somewhere. And it's scary times because they know they have to get it all in one place, they have to centralise it, they have to keep it up to date, they want to host it, they want to share it. So it's getting those processes in place. And then starting off in a way where we're saying, okay, we've new buildings coming on, but let's specify what that digital handover information, that's going to be crucial. Now, I'm really addressing the stuff that's already being preached by some really good organisations like IWFM or the BSRI who are preaching the whole soft landing system. It was very important, and there's some great strategies around that. So I've taken our friend from the previous slide and I'm basically just putting the same process in place. That we're involved at inception of briefing, from design, from construction, at every stage, because we're going to take ownership of those buildings. So we have to have an input. It's going to be very important. Now, our friend at the start of the presentation wasn't a happy camper. Now, Ireland have won the World Cup, Dublin have won the All-Ireland, and all his information is in place. So he's now at a stage where he's coming into work, he's working from his machine, he's a happy workplace, he's lots of information, he's accessibility to all his information on his mobile devices. Everything's up and running, from planning, from design, from construction. Anybody that has an input into the actual building is working within the technology that's already there. So we have these existing technologies. We just need to make sure that they're put in place and we're avoiding the paper-based processes and those unconnected information. Now, we can see by putting those processes in place that we've talked about before, we're now at a stage whereby I can see all my information, I'm planning and design. The key stuff, all my planning information, all my forest certification, all my tender documentation, set up. So me as the client can communicate with my design team. They've got full accessibility to the application. Now I'm bringing it to the next stage, design and construction. All my site workflows. I've got full visibility of all the RFIs. What RFIs are being closed out, what submittals, what defects are there, what my non-compliance reporting in the project. So I'm not going to be a heavy user of this. But I've got full visibility. I know everything's being closed out properly. And now I'm moving comfortably onto the next stage, which is my digital handover. And I can see the building coming out of the ground, but I can also see my handover information that I'm going to take ownership of this, being fully reviewed and spec'd out and being signed off by me and my FMT, which is important, very crucial. Now, I've taken the information from here, and now we're going into our master planning. Our FM processes. We're taking our construction handover information, which is there, and now becoming part of our IWS, my asset registers, my detailed process, my plant preventive maintenance, my reactive maintenance, my schedules, my asset registers. This is all crucial, but it's all got from making sure it's all structured processing and structured correctly from all these different stages, which allows me to get to this stage. I've also got my BIM model, which is being delivered. Now it's being hosted on the same application. I'm not overloading the BIM model. I'm able to click on an actual piece of plant, and out comes my information tagged at a light enough level on those assets. So now I've got all my handover information, I have a full repository of all my design construction information, and I've got my BIM models up and running straight away. I can be at any site, at any location around the world, and I can be able to access those BIM models, navigate them successfully, and view the information. And then I'm able to see all my plant preventive maintenance tasks actually happening live, real time, 24/7. So I've gone away from the unstructured processes now to a proper digital platform that's being coordinated successfully at these individual stages. So, just on a kind of summary level, we've got to make sure that the right specifications are captured and are drafted by us to include in our construction tender documentation and design documents. Otherwise, I won't have any opportunity to argue with a contractor, design team member, what's in their contracts, it's in their contracts. There's no changing. Early engaging of end user and facilities management is so important. We've got to get our FM teams and our end users involved at design team stages. Ensuring we have a digital strategy. We have a digital strategy for all our building information in place and implemented at all different stages of life cycle. The FM role should ensure that we're developing all these processes. So no matter what construction company or design team is going to build on our campus or in our facility, he's meeting our information requirements. We hold all the information, we own all the information. We're funding these projects. Next step, ensure single source of digital asset information amongst designers. That's standard. If we're using technology, these are the processes we have in place. Ensure that we've got a quality review of all the information. We're not accepting any information until it can be demonstrated that everything's been fully reviewed and approved. We can't be going to buildings and checking as-built information or checking documentation and it just doesn't represent what's there at the moment. That's got to be avoided. But if we put it in front of people's contracts, they'll adhere to the process. Training and familiarisation, soft landings, operational readiness, making sure that the key people who are going to be operating the facilities are involved at the very stage. They're setting the deadlines and the guidelines for the commissioning processes, for the handover process, and we're making sure that if we have contractors working on site, they've got SLAs moving forward. They've got 12 months, the defects liability period, and we're making sure they're meeting all our requirements. Now, the team that was originally unconnected is now connected. We're all sharing the information off one platform. We have our FM team. They've got full visibility of the information and setting all the parameters down here at this stage. We've got our building operators looking at the information. We've got our contract design team already adhering to our policies. And we've got this guy. He's still got a smile on his face. He's now run the work up at this particular stage. Now our digitalisation of the asset lifecycle. It's very simple. We have all these technologies. We've got to just make sure we're specifying how to use them. We're committed to sustainability. We don't want any paper. We're going papers. We want to store information in the cloud, in a secure cloud. We don't want to put it in Dropbox and then someone going and delete it. No, we want a proper process in place. Ensuring data security, no paper, secure online storage, and a full audit trail. Basic stuff, and it's all there for us. Building a safer future. We're working with lots of clients who have gone through different stages of having no information. Very, very sad and disturbing situation with the Grenfell Tower, and a very unfortunate situation when they reviewed the whole process and they went back looking for where was the information associated with the buildings. No one had it. So the UK government drafted up legislation and reports saying every building that's being built should have a digital process to their information. We can't run that risk anymore where we don't know where our information is, that our information isn't safely accessible going forward. That's just so important. From a legislation point of view, from a liability point of view, it's making sure that we have full access to all our information all the time. So, in summary, I think we got to a stage where a better owned company, we could be classified as that digital innovation specialist, as one of the speakers talked about this morning. We've lots of good awards over the last couple of years, which is great. Recent one was the ILM Award for highly commended innovation in products and services. We're working on lots of projects, great projects around the globe, Northern, UK, Netherlands, but people are appreciating the fact that the information they should be having should be at their fingertips, right through the different stages, from planning and design, through to construction, and on to operation. It's owned by you, you're funding these projects, so you've got to put those processes in place. So,
thank you,
I will.
Good man. Any
Excellent
questions
speakers.
for George? No? Good, that's the plan.